the origins of civilization, from, let's say, 2500 BC to about 1700 AD, it's all blocked out. We can't go there because it's so different that the load-up time, it took me, as I told you, I began to join the Harvard group in 1984. It was 1994. It took 10 years for me to familiarize myself, to talk to the Assyriologists, to read the literature. It's as if I had to get a whole separate PhD in ancient Near Eastern anthropology to understand all of this. I'd never dreamed it, but I thought, this is so important. This all of a sudden shows that what I can see is the modern problem of today's polarizing world economy. This goes way back to back then and how they handled it. Well, what they realized was if you don't cancel the debts, then you leave society falling into debt peonage, the bondage to the creditors. You have the creditors ending up ultimately not only with all the land and all the capital assets, but with the control over labor to essentially lead them not into debt bond servitude anymore, like you had in antiquity, but the same thing. You can live wherever you want, you can work for whoever you want for, but wherever you live, you're going to have to go into debt and use all of your income over and above basic subsistence to pay the creditors. Well, that's really what bondage is. That's what debt peonage is. So that's the common denominator that I'm trying to show that is a constant for the last 5,000 years. And if you look at civilization on the basis of this common denominator, you have the laws of motion that are happening. How does the way in which society resolve this question of what's going to come first, paying debts to creditors or writing down creditors' claims to save the economy's ability to grow and raise living standards and to make tangible capital investment? That's the dynamic of civilization. And that's the dynamic that's splitting the global majority today in the BRICS away from the Western garden. The jungle is what Borrell calls it in German. And the jungle said, okay, to us, it's the jungle. But I think that President Netanyahu, in his speech to Congress yesterday, said it in one sentence what the whole structure is. He said today's fight is between civilization and barbarism. He was emulating what Rosa Luxemburg said. Of course, he got it. He didn't know which side. The question is, which side are the barbarian and which side is civilization? He didn't have the same idea that Rosa Luxemburg said, but that juxtaposition is what's really important. There was still this common denominator of the choice between a financial oligarchy emerging or a government strong enough, whether it's divine kingship or Greek democracy or the so-called Greek tyrants that canceled the debts and redistributed the land and led for the Greek takeoff to happen, or the modern socialist revolutions that had that. It's all a constant within this transformation, and you look at this really more of an evolution from one species or genus of an economic system to another economic system. You have to look at it systemically, and that's what economists don't do, or political theorists. They're tunnel vision, and there's a tendency to imagine that the past is just like today, and that, we're the heirs of Greece and Rome, so they must have been just like us. Well, if they are, then we're going to have the same fate that Rome had, the decline and fall of Rome. If that's you really think there's a similarity there, that's what it is. And the fact that Greece and Rome, Western civilization, took the Near Eastern takeoff out of context, without a ruler able to have the power to cancel the debts and prevent an oligarchy, the 1% in Rome, from taking over the land and monopolizing it and bringing on the Dark Age. And people think, the Greeks had democracy. But they didn't have democracy except for a very short move toward democracy in some electoral forms. Aristotle did a study of all the Greek constitutions, and he said they all call themselves democracies. They're really oligarchies. And that's he got it right. But the dynamics of how the oligarchies operated, the rhetoric they use, the words that they use have changed so fundamentally. You have to look at this transformative process. So it's not simply moving forward. It's a self-transformation unfolding that you really, if I'm forecasting the future, you really can't. I mean, what are we going to have now? Are the BRICS really going to have a global majority with socialist characteristics or with libertarian free market characteristics? What's going to happen to the West? Is it really going to just let itself be polarized and end up like the Roman Empire did? Or is Europe going to say, well, I guess we made a mistake. Let's get independent and join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization like I think Hungary would like to do, and maybe the Slovak Republic. I don't know. Or is Biden and the Democrats and the neocons going to be able to blow up? Say, if we don't go to war now with atomic war, every year we're going to lose power. And if we're going to have atomic war, let's do it now before we're even weaker next year and the year after. Let's blow up the world now. And Biden can say, well, I'm going to be, I'm going to lose it for Alzheimer's in another month. What the hell? I don't care. Let's press the button.